Captain Alex Carter stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance watching the stars through the main window. The ship moved slowly through space, scanning rocks and empty areas for anything useful. It was their third week out here, and everyone was getting bored. "Captain, we're picking up something strange," said Beth Taylor from her seat at the communications station. She was young, maybe 25, with short brown hair and quick fingers that danced over her controls. Alex walked over to her station. "What kind of strange?" "It's a signal, but not like anything we've seen before. The computer can't make sense of it." Beth pressed a few buttons and the bridge speakers crackled with noise. It sounded like static mixed with high-pitched whistles and low rumbles. Jake Murphy, the ship's weapons officer, looked up from his station. "Could be a trap. Pirates sometimes use weird signals to lure ships in." Alex nodded. Jake was right, too. Be careful. Space could be dangerous, especially this far from Earth. But something about the signal made Alex feel uneasy. It didn't sound like a trap. It sounded like someone was scared. "Lisa, can you boost the signal?" Alex called to the engineering. Station Chief Engineer Lisa Stone was already working on it. Her hands moved over the controls with practiced ease. Lisa had been fixing ships longer than most of the crew had been alive. "Give me a minute, Captain. This is tricky." The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the ship's engines and the clicking of Lisa's controls. The USS Defiance was not a big ship. It carried 200 people and was built for exploring, not fighting. They had some weapons, but nothing that could handle a real battle. "Got it," Lisa said suddenly. The static cleared and voices came through the speakers, but they were not human voices. The sounds were like crystal bells mixed with wind chimes, beautiful but alien. And there was fear in those voices. Even without understanding the words, everyone on the bridge could hear the terror. "My God," whispered Dr. Amy Brooks, who had come up from the medical bay to see what was happening. "They're calling for help." Alex felt his chest tighten. Somewhere out there, people were in trouble. They might not be human people, but they were people just the same. "Beth, can you figure out where it's coming from?" "Working on it now." Beth's fingers flew over her station. Numbers and charts appeared on her screen. "It's coming from the Kepler 442 system, about 6 hours away at full speed." Jake shook his head. "Captain, we don't know anything about these aliens. They could be dangerous. This could be a trick." "Listen to them, Jake," Alex said quietly. "Does that sound like a trick to you?" The alien voices continued to pour from the speakers. Some were high and quick, like children crying. Others were deeper, probably adults trying to stay calm while their world fell apart around them. Lisa had been working to clean up the signal even more. Suddenly, images appeared on the main screen. Everyone on the bridge gasped. The pictures showed ships in space, but not like human ships. These were beautiful, made of what looked like living crystal that glowed with soft light. But many of the ships were broken, with pieces floating away into the darkness. Around the crystal ships swarmed other vessels. These were ugly and dark, shaped like giant insects with sharp edges and glowing red lights. The insect ships were firing weapons at the crystal ships, and the crystal ships were dying. "There are so many of them," Beth said in a small voice. Alex counted the ships on the screen. The crystal people had maybe 20 ships, and most of those were damaged. The insect ships numbered in the hundreds. It was not a fair fight. "Captain," said Ryan Phillips, the ship's second in command. He was a good man, steady and smart. "Our orders are to explore and report back. We're not supposed to get involved in alien conflicts." Alex knew Ryan was right. Their orders were clear. But orders were just words on paper. What mattered was what was right. On the screen, one of the crystal ships exploded in a shower of beautiful, deadly light. Alex could hear the alien voices, getting more desperate. They were losing, and they knew it. Dr. Brooks stepped forward. "Captain, I can see smaller ships launching from the crystal vessels. Those are escape pods. They're trying to save their families." As she spoke, the insect ships turned their weapons on the escape pods. The small crystal pods had no weapons, no shields. They were just trying to get away. The insect ships destroyed them one by one. "They're killing the children," Dr. Brooks said, her voice breaking. Alex felt anger rise in his chest. These insect creatures were not just winning a battle, they were murdering families. They were destroying people who just wanted to live. Jake, how long would it take us to get there? Alex asked. At full speed, 5.5 hours. And how long do you think the crystal people have? Jake looked at the screen where another crystal ship was falling apart under enemy fire. Maybe 2 hours, 3 if they're lucky. Alex turned to face his crew. These were good people. They had families back on Earth. They had signed up to explore space, not to fight wars against alien monsters. I know what our orders say, Alex began slowly. I know we're supposed to stay out of trouble, but I also know what kind of people we are. We don't walk away when innocent people are dying. Ryan looked worried. Captain, we're one ship against hundreds. We can't win a fight like that. Maybe not, Alex agreed. But we can try to save some of them. We can give them a chance. Lisa spoke up from her station. The ship can handle it, Captain. I can push the engines harder than the manual. Says, we'll get there. Beth nodded from communications. I'll keep working on their language. Maybe we can talk to them, coordinate a rescue. Dr. Brooks was already heading for the door. I need to prepare the medical bay for alien patients. I don't know their biology, but I'll figure it out. Alex looked around the bridge at his crew. They were scared, but they were ready. This was what humans did. When others needed help, humans answered the call. Jake, set course for Kepler 442. Maximum speed. Yes, sir. Beth, keep monitoring that signal. I want to know everything about what's happening out there. Already on it, Captain. Alex sat down in his command chair and watched the stars begin to move faster as the ship turned toward its new destination. Somewhere ahead, people were dying, but the USS Defiance was coming, and they would not arrive empty-handed. The human race was about to make first contact with alien life, and they were going to do it by charging into battle to save strangers. The USS Defiance dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go quiet. The battle was worse than the pictures had shown. Pieces of broken crystal ships floated everywhere, like deadly snow. The insect ships moved between them like sharks hunting for survivors. Their red light swept across the wreckage, looking for anything still alive. Dear God, whispered Ryan Phillips. We're too late. But Alex Carter was not, ready to give up. Beth, are you getting any signals from the crystal ships? Beth worked frantically at her station. Yes, there's one big ship still fighting, and I'm picking up dozens of smaller signals. Escape pods, I think. On the main screen, they could see the last crystal ship. It was huge, maybe 10 times the size of the Defiance. Its crystal walls glowed with soft blue light, but that light was flickering. The ship was dying. Around it swarmed at least 50 insect ships. They looked like giant metal wasps with glowing red eyes. Their weapons fired streams of red energy that burned through the crystal hull like acid through paper. Captain, Jake Murphy called from his weapons station. I count over 300 enemy ships in the area. We have 12 pulse cannons and 4 torpedo tubes. This is suicide. Alex studied the battle. The insect ships were focused on the big, crystal vessel. They had not noticed the human ship yet. That might give them a chance. Lisa, how are our shields? At full power, Captain. But I don't know how long they'll hold against those red beams. Alex made his decision. Beth, try to contact that crystal ship. Jake, target the insect ships closest to the escape pods. We save the survivors first. Contact established, Beth said suddenly. Audio and visual coming through now. The main screen split in half. On one side, they could still see the battle. On the other side appeared a face that made everyone stare. The alien looked like it was made of living crystal. Its face was sharp and angular, with eyes that glowed like blue stars. When it spoke, its voice was like music mixed with the sound of wind through caves. Unknown vessel, you must leave this place immediately. The harvesters will destroy you. Beth had been working on the alien language during their journey. The computer was starting to translate the words. I think that's their commander, Captain. Alex stepped forward so the alien could see him. This is Captain Alex Carter of the human vessel Defiance. We received your distress call. We're here to help. The crystal being's eyes went wide. Human? We do not know this species. Why do you risk yourselves for strangers? Because it's the right thing to do, Alex said simply. What's your name? I am Commander Thisara of the colony ship Harmonies. Light. We carry 12,000 refugees from our homeworld. The harvesters came without warning. They take our people for food. Alex felt sick. These insect creatures were not just killers. They were monsters who ate other intelligent beings. How many escape pods are out there? Perhaps 200, mostly younglings and elders. We tried to save them, but the harvesters hunt them down one by one. Not anymore, Alex said firmly. Jake, begin attack run. Target the insect ships near the escape pods. The Defiance moved forward into the battle. The human ship was small compared to the crystal vessel, but it was fast, and its weapons were precise. Jake's first shots destroyed 3 insect ships that were closing in on a group of escape pods. The insect fleet noticed them immediately. Dozens of the wasp-like ships turned away from the crystal ship and swarmed toward the humans. Here they come, Jake said, his hands steady on the weapons controls. 30 ships incoming. Lisa, transfer all power to forward shields, Alex ordered. The first insect ships opened fire. Red beams lanced through space toward the Defiance, but something strange happened. The beams hit the human shields and just stopped. The energy scattered like water hitting a rock. That's impossible, Jake said, staring at his screens. Our shields are barely dented. Lisa was checking her instruments. Captain, I think our shield frequency is interfering with their weapons. It's like our technology is naturally resistant to theirs. Alex smiled grimly. Then let's use that advantage. Jake, return fire. The Defiance's pulse cannons fired blue beams of energy. Unlike the scattered red beams of the insects, the human weapons cut through the enemy ships like knives through butter. In 30 seconds, Jake destroyed 8 insect vessels. The remaining attackers tried to get closer, but the Defiance was faster. Ryan Phillips, who was helping with navigation, sent the ship dancing between the enemy ships. The humans fired from all angles, destroying anything that got too close. Commander Thisara, Alex called to the crystal being. We're going to start picking up your escape pods. Can you guide us to them? This is madness, Thisara replied. Your ship is so small, you cannot possibly rescue everyone. Watch us, Alex said. Ryan Phillips was already plotting a course to the nearest group of escape pods. There's a cluster of 20 pods about 5 kilometers away, but there are insect ships guarding them. Jake, clear us a path. The Defiance swept down on the insect ships like an avenging angel. The human weapons destroyed the enemy vessels before they could react. Dr. Brooks and her medical team were standing by in the shuttle bay, ready to help the alien survivors. The first crystal escape pod was brought aboard 5 minutes later. Dr. Brooks and her team rushed to help the occupants. Inside were 3 crystal beings, 2 adults and 1 child. They were hurt but alive. The crystal child was the most beautiful thing Dr. Brooks had ever seen. It glowed with soft purple light and made sounds like tiny bells. When it saw the human, it reached out with a delicate crystal hand. It's okay, Dr. Brooks said softly, even though she knew the child could not understand her words. You're safe now. The adult crystal beings watched in amazement as the human medical team worked to help them. No species had ever risked themselves to save the Valith before. Most civilizations just ran away when the harvesters came. Captain, Beth called from the bridge. I'm getting reports from the medical bay. The aliens are responding well to treatment. Dr. Brooks says their biology is different, but she can help them. More escape pods were brought aboard. The Defiance's cargo bays filled with crystal refugees. Each one looked at their human rescuers with wonder and gratitude, but the insect fleet was getting angry. More and more enemy ships were breaking away from their attack on the Harmony's light and coming after the humans. Captain, Jake said, his voice tense. We've got a big problem. I count over 100 insect ships heading our way. And there's something else. Something big. On the screen, a massive shape emerged from behind the dying crystal ship. It was 10 times larger than the other insect vessels. covered in spikes and glowing with evil red light. "That's their command ship," Thisara said, her musical voice filled with fear. "The Apex Harvester. It has come to destroy you personally." Alex looked at the approaching enemy fleet. They had saved maybe 60 crystal beings so far. There were still hundreds more escape pods floating in space waiting for rescue. "How long until that fleet reaches us?" he asked. 3 minutes, Jake replied. Alex nodded. 3 minutes to save as many lives as possible. 3 minutes before the real battle began. "All hands, prepare for combat," he announced over the ship's speakers. "We're not leaving anyone behind." The 100 insect ships hit the Defiance like a storm of red death. The human ship shook as enemy beams hammered against its shields. Sparks flew from control panels on the bridge as the ship's systems strained under the attack. "Shields down to 60%, Lisa called from engineering. She was crawling under her station, trying to fix damaged circuits while the ship bucked around her. "I'm rerouting power from non-essential systems, but we can't take much more of this." Alex gripped his command chair as another wave of enemy fire struck them. Through the chaos, he could see more crystal escape pods floating in the distance. Each one held innocent lives that would die if the humans gave up now. "Jake, how many more pods can you see?" "At least 150, Jake replied, never taking his eyes off his weapons display. "But Captain, we've got bigger problems. That command ship is almost in range." The Apex Harvester was a nightmare made real. It looked like a giant metal spider with glowing red eyes scattered across its hull. Each eye was actually a weapon that could destroy a small ship with one shot. The creature was so large it cast a shadow over the battlefield. "Commander Thisara," Alex called to the crystal alien on the communication screen. "Tell me about that thing. What are we facing?" The crystal being's musical voice was filled with terror. "The Apex Harvester has destroyed 1,000 worlds. No species has ever survived an encounter with it. You must flee while you can." "Not happening," Alex said firmly. "How many of your people are still on your ship?" 8,000. "But our engines are failing. We cannot escape." Alex made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his life. "Jake, target the command ship. All weapons." "Captain, that thing is 50 times our size. Our weapons might not even scratch it. Then we'll have to get creative." "Lisa, can you overload our torpedo warheads?" Lisa's voice came from under her station. "I can soup them up, but it'll be dangerous. If one explodes in the tube, we're all dead." "Do it." While Lisa worked on the torpedoes, Jake kept firing at the smaller insect ships. His aim was perfect, and human weapons cut through enemy vessels like they were made of paper. But for every ship he destroyed, 2 more took its place. Dr. Brooks called from the medical bay. "Captain, we have over 200 crystal refugees on board now. My medical bay is full, and we're treating patients in the cargo holds." "How are they doing?" "Doc? They're amazing people, Alex. Even the wounded ones are trying to help us treat the others. I've never seen such courage." The ship shook again as more enemy fire hit them. A control panel exploded near Beth's station, and she cried out as sparks burned her arm. But she kept working, trying to coordinate the rescue of more escape pods. "I've got pods requesting pickup in Sector 7, she called out. "But there are 20 insect ships guarding them." Ryan Phillips was already plotting. "Of course, we can get there, but we'll take heavy fire." "Do it," Alex ordered. The Defiance dove toward the new group of escape pods. Jake's weapons cleared a path through the enemy ships, but more kept coming. The human ship was like a small dog fighting a pack of wolves, quick and fierce but vastly outnumbered. They rescued 15 more pods before the Apex Harvester finally came into range. The massive command ship opened fire with all its weapons at once. The beam was so powerful it lit up the entire battle area like a red sun. "Brace for, impact," Alex shouted. The beam hit their shields and the entire ship went dark for 3 seconds. When the lights came back on, half the control panels were dead. "Shields down to 20%, Lisa reported. "One more hit like that and we're finished." But something strange was happening. The crystal refugees throughout the ship were beginning to glow brighter. Their bodies pulsed with beautiful blue and purple light. "Captain," Dr. Brooks called from medical. "The aliens are doing something. They're all starting to resonate like they're singing together. Commander Thisara's eyes went wide on the communication screen. Impossible. They are creating a harmony field, but that requires hundreds of our people working together. What does that do? Alex asked. It shares life energy between all connected beings. Your people and mine are now linked. We feel your courage, and you gain our strength. Alex could feel it happening. Energy flowed through him like warm sunlight. Around the bridge, his crew stood straighter. Their eyes glowed with new determination. Lisa, how are our systems? Better than they should be, Lisa said in wonder. It's like the ship is healing itself. The Apex Harvester fired again, but this time the Defiance's shields held firm. The shared life energy of humans and crystal beings made them stronger together than they could ever be apart. Jake, fire everything we have at that monster. The human ship's weapons lit up the darkness. Regular pulse beams mixed with Lisa's supercharged torpedoes. The massive explosions bloomed across the command ship's hull like deadly flowers. The Apex Harvester screamed. It was a sound that came through space itself, a cry of rage and pain that made everyone on the Defiance cover their ears. The monster had been hurt, and it did not like being hurt. We actually damaged it, Jake said in amazement. But their victory was short-lived. The command ship began to glow with building energy. More insect ships were arriving from other parts of the system, drawn by their leader's call for help. Captain, Ryan said quietly. Long-range sensors show 300 more enemy ships incoming. They'll be here in 10 minutes. Alex looked around the bridge at his crew. They were tired, hurt, and afraid. But they were not beaten. The crystal refugees had shown them what it meant to share strength with others. How many people have we saved so far? He asked. 412 crystal beings, Beth replied. But there are still over 100 escape pods out there. And 8,000 more on the Harmony's light, Alex added. The Apex Harvester was charging up for another massive attack. The smaller insect ships were closing in from all sides. In 10 minutes, 300 more enemy vessels would join the battle. Any rational person would surrender or run away. But humans were not always rational. Sometimes they were something better. Sometimes they were heroic. All hands, Alex announced over the ship's speakers. We came here to save innocent lives. We've rescued over 400 people so far, but there are thousands more who need our help. The enemy thinks we'll give up now that things look hopeless. They don't understand humans very well. He paused, looking at each member of his crew. We're going to save everyone we can, and we're going to make these monsters pay for what they've done. Lisa, give me everything the engines have got. Jake, target anything that moves. Beth, coordinate rescue operations. Ryan, plot us a course through the thickest part of their fleet. Captain, Ryan said, that's suicide. Alex smiled. Maybe, but we're taking a lot of them with us. The Defiance turned toward the heart of the enemy fleet. Behind them, the Harmony's light struggled to stay alive. Around them, 100 escape pods waited for rescue. Ahead of them, the Apex Harvester prepared to unleash hell. But the humans were not afraid. They had crystal allies sharing their strength, and they had something the insects could never understand. They had hope. The Defiance charged straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. Alex had made a choice that would either save everyone or kill them all. There was no middle ground left. Jake, fire at will. Don't stop shooting until we're dead or they are. Jake's hands moved like lightning over his controls. The ship's weapons fired in all directions, cutting through insect ships like a blade through smoke. But there were so many enemies that destroying 10 of them barely made a difference. Captain, Beth called out, her voice tight with fear. I'm getting a transmission from Earth. They want to know our status. Alex almost laughed. Earth was 40 light years away. By the time any help could reach them, this battle would be long over. Tell them we found aliens. Tell them some of them are good people who need help. Tell them others are monsters who eat children. The ship shuddered as enemy fire hit them again and again. Sparks flew from damaged systems and the lights flickered. Through it all, the crystal refugees throughout the ship continued to glow, sharing their life energy with their human rescuers. Lisa, how much longer can we hold together? I'm working miracles down here, Captain, but miracles have limits. Maybe 10 more minutes before something critical fails. Dr. Brooks called from the medical bay. Alex, I need to tell you something. The crystal people, they're not just sharing energy with us. They're sharing memories too. I can see glimpses of their worlds, their families. These are good people who just wanted to live in peace. Alex felt it too. Images flashed in his mind of crystal cities that sang with harmony, of families raising children in gardens of living light. The harvesters had destroyed dozens of worlds like this, eating entire civilizations. How many more pods have we rescued? 37 more, Ryan reported. But Captain, the Apex Harvester is moving toward us, and those 300 reinforcement ships will be here in 5 minutes. The massive command ship was like a moving mountain of death. Its red eyes glowed brighter as it prepared to fire its main weapon again. Around it, the smaller insect ships formed a protective wall. Alex knew they could not survive another direct hit from that monster, but he also knew they could not run away. Too many innocent lives depended on them. Lisa, what's the status on those overloaded torpedoes? Ready to go, but Captain, I need to tell you something. I've been thinking about our fusion reactor. If I overload it completely, we could create an explosion big enough to take out everything within 50 kilometers. Including us. Including us. Alex was quiet for a moment. Around the bridge, his crew continued their work. Beth coordinated rescue operations while enemy fire shook the ship. Jake destroyed target after target, his aim never wavering. Ryan plotted impossible courses through the chaos, keeping them alive through pure skill. These were the best people Alex had ever known. They deserved to go home to their families. They deserved to live. But so did the 8,000 crystal beings, still trapped on the dying Harmony's light. Commander Thaisara, Alex called to the alien on the communication screen. If we don't make it, I want you to know something. Humans will remember what happened here. We'll come back for your people someday. The crystal being's musical voice was filled with sadness. Captain Carter, your species has shown us something we thought was impossible. You fight not for conquest or resources, but simply because it is right. The galaxy will be a better place with humans in it. The Apex Harvester was almost in range for its killing shot. The reinforcement fleet would arrive any moment. The Defiance was dying by degrees, its systems failing one by one. That was when the impossible happened. Captain! Beth screamed from her station. Long-range sensors are picking up massive energy signatures approaching fast. More enemies? No, sir. The computer is analyzing the engine signatures. They're human. Alex felt his heart stop. That's impossible. Earth is 40 light-years. Wait, not Earth, sir. These ships are coming from the Proxima system. It's the emergency response fleet. Through the chaos of battle, 12 massive shapes dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They were human dreadnoughts, each one 5 times the size of the Defiance. At their head was the largest warship ever built by mankind. This is Admiral Kate Morrison of the USS Retribution, came a voice over the radio. Defiance, we got your message. Sorry we're late to the party. Alex could not speak. The emergency response fleet was supposed to be years away from completion. How had they gotten here so fast? Captain Carter, Admiral Morrison continued. We monitored your transmissions to Earth. The whole planet is watching. You've made us proud out there. The 12 dreadnoughts moved into battle formation around the dying Defiance. Their weapons were beyond anything the insect ships had ever seen. Particle beams that could cut through a moon. Nuclear torpedoes that burned like miniature suns. Kinetic bombardment systems that fired metal rods at near light speed. All ships. Admiral Morrison's voice rang out across the fleet. These bugs have been hunting innocent people across the galaxy. They think they're the apex predators. Time to show them what apex really means. The human fleet opened fire as one. The space around the Kepler 442 system lit up like a supernova. Insect ships died by the dozens, then by the hundreds. The enemy's numerical advantage meant nothing against human determination and superior technology. The Apex Harvester tried to fight back, firing its massive weapon at the USS Retribution. But the dreadnought's shields held, and it returned fire. with weapons that made the monster scream in pain and rage. "Captain," Jake said, his voice full of wonder, "our people came. They actually came." Alex watched the battle unfold around them. The crystal refugees throughout the ship were singing now, their voices joining in harmony with the human crew. It was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. "All ships, this is Captain Carter of the Defiance. We have over 400 crystal refugees aboard and more escape pods to collect. The colony ship Harmony's Light has 8,000 survivors who need immediate evacuation." "Copy that, Defiance," Admiral Morrison replied. "Medical ships are standing by. We're not leaving anyone behind." The 300 enemy reinforcements arrived just in time to watch their fleet die. The human dreadnoughts moved through them like sharks through minnows. Advanced weapons and tactics turned the battle into a massacre. But the Apex Harvester was not finished. The massive command ship began to glow with building energy, preparing for one final desperate attack. It was going to try to ram the Harmony's Light, taking the crystal refugees with it into death. "Not today," Alex said quietly. "Lisa, give me one more miracle." "Already working on it, Captain." The Defiance, battered and barely functional, moved to intercept the command ship. It was David against Goliath, but David had friends now. The human fleet concentrated their fire on the monster, weakening it just enough. Lisa's overloaded torpedoes struck the Apex Harvester's engines at the perfect moment. The explosion tore through the command ship's hull, sending it spinning away. "From the Crystal Colony ship. Target destroyed," Jake reported with satisfaction. Around them, the last of the insect ships fled into the darkness. The Harvesters, for the first time in their history, had been defeated. The hunters had become the hunted. Alex sat back in his command chair and allowed himself to smile. They had done it. Against impossible odds, they had saved everyone. The galaxy would never be the same. 3 months after the battle at Kepler 442, Captain Alex Carter stood on the observation deck of Earth's newest space station. Through the massive windows, he could see ships from a dozen different species docked at the station's arms. The galaxy had changed forever. The crystal beings called Vaelith had been given a new world to call home. It was a beautiful planet with singing forests and crystal mountains that caught the light of twin suns. Commander Thaisara had become the first alien ambassador to Earth, and her people were helping humans understand technologies they had never dreamed of. "Captain Carter," came a familiar musical voice behind him. Alex turned to see Thaisara approaching. Her crystal body glowed with soft blue light, and her face showed the expression that humans had learned meant happiness among her people. "Ambassador," Alex said with a smile, "how are your people settling in on New Harmony?" "Very well. The children especially love the singing trees. They remind them of home." Thaisara paused, her crystalline features growing serious. "But that is not why I came to see you today." Alex raised an eyebrow. "What's on your mind?" "We have received word from other species across the galaxy. News of what humans did at Kepler 442 has spread far and wide. Many civilizations want to meet these strange beings who fight to protect strangers." Through the windows, Alex could see a massive ship unlike anything he had ever seen. It looked like it was grown rather than built, with organic curves and what appeared to be living metal. Next to it was a vessel that seemed to be made entirely of light, shifting and changing colors as he watched. "The collective of minds sends their greetings," Thaisara continued. "They are artificial intelligences who achieved consciousness 1,000,000 years ago. They say they have never encountered biological beings with such advanced moral reasoning. And that ship made of light? The energy dancers. They exist as pure thought and energy. They have taken physical form just to meet humans face to face. They are very curious about creatures who value life above their own survival." Alex shook his head in wonder. 6 months ago, humans had thought they were alone in the universe. Now they were hosting diplomatic meetings with beings of pure energy and ancient machine minds. "There's more," Thaisara said. "The Galactic Council wants to offer humanity a seat at their governing body. No species has ever been invited to join after only one contact. Usually it takes centuries of observation." What changed their minds? You did? All of you. When the Council learned that humans had charged into battle to save a species they had never met, they realized something important. Most civilizations become more selfish as they grow powerful. Humans seem to become more protective of others. Admiral Kate Morrison walked up to join them. She had been promoted after the battle and now commanded all human space forces. Her fleet had grown from 12 ships to over 100 in just 3 months. "Alex, we need to talk," she said. "We've got a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The good kind. We're getting distress calls from all over the galaxy. Species that are under attack by various threats. Pirates, slavers, and worse. They're all asking for human help." Alex felt a familiar weight settle on his shoulders. "How many calls?" 47 in the last week alone. The Senate is meeting tomorrow to decide how to respond. Thisara's eyes glowed brighter. "This is what my people hoped would happen. For too long the strong have preyed upon the weak in our galaxy. The Council tried to maintain peace through treaties and negotiations, but some species only understand force. And now they think humans are the solution?" Alex asked. "You proved that some fights are worth having," Admiral Morrison said. "The Harvesters had been terrorizing this part of the galaxy for over 1,000 years. No one could stop them, until humans showed up." Alex thought about his crew aboard the Defiance. Jake Murphy was now training alien gunners in human weapons systems. Dr. Brooks had established the first interspecies medical exchange program. Lisa Stone was working with Crystal engineers to design new types of starships that combined human and Valith technology. What about the Harvesters? Are there more of them out there? Intelligence reports suggest yes, Admiral Morrison replied. But they're scared now. Human-led fleets have been hunting them across 3 star systems. We've rescued over 50,000 beings from their prison ships. Through the station speakers came an announcement that made Alex smile. "Attention all personnel. The hospital ship Mercy will be departing for the Centauri system in 1 hour. All volunteers for the relief mission, please report to Docking Bay 7. Alex watched through the window as beings from a dozen species lined up to board the human medical vessel. Humans, Valith, the plant-like Verdani, and even some of the ancient machine minds had volunteered to help earthquake victims on a distant world. "You know what I find most amazing about all this?" Thisara said softly. "What's that?" "Most species, when they first encounter others, ask what they can gain. Humans ask what they can give." A young officer approached their group. "Captain Carter, sorry to interrupt, but there's a transmission for you from the Defiance. Something about a new distress call." Alex sighed. His old ship was back in service, leading rescue operations across the galaxy. Ryan Phillips was her captain now, with a mixed crew of humans and aliens working together. "What's the situation?" "Slave raiders are attacking a peaceful farming world in the Vega system. The locals have no weapons and no way to defend themselves." Alex looked at Admiral Morrison. "How long until we can get ships there?" "The Third Fleet can be there in 18 hours. "Too long," Alex said immediately. "People will die." "Then what do you suggest?" Alex smiled the same smile he had worn when facing impossible odds at Kepler 442. "We send the Defiance ahead, 1 ship to buy time until the fleet arrives." "Alex," Admiral Morrison said carefully, "that's exactly the kind of thinking that almost got you killed the first time. But it worked." Thisara laughed, a sound like crystal bells in the wind. "This is why the galaxy needs humans. You see a problem and your first instinct is to help, regardless of the cost." Alex walked toward the communication station to contact his old ship. Behind him, Admiral Morrison and Ambassador Thisara watched him go. "He's going to do it again, isn't he?" the Admiral asked. "Of course he is," Thisara replied. "He's human." As Alex opened the channel to the Defiance, he could see more ships launching from the station. Human vessels mixed with alien designs, all heading out to help those in need. The galaxy was a dangerous place, but it was less dangerous now than it had been 6 months ago, and it would keep getting better, one rescue at a time. "Captain Phillips," Alex said into the communicator. "This is Alex Carter. I hear you've got another impossible mission for us." Yes, sir, came Ryan's voice, full of determination. Just like old times. Just like old times, Alex agreed. Let's go save some people. In the depths of space, the Defiance turned toward its new destination. Behind it followed ships from across the galaxy, united in purpose. The age of humanity standing alone was over. The age of humanity leading others had begun.